So today we're talking about how to actually change your life for the better once you're sober. My name is Angela Denal. I am a Jay Shetty certified life coach, and I'm also somebody who's gone through this journey of sobriety, somebody who has changed their life dramatically just simply through the initial act of removing alcohol and substances from my life for good. Something I'm very proud of, something I'm super thrilled that I made happen in my life so that I could get on the other side of this and start to teach other people not only how to do it, but like the major benefits that we get once we do this. And so I think a lot of people might have this misconception that just removing alcohol alone is going to make your life great. And that's not necessarily true. Sure, you're going to not be hungover anymore. And let me tell you, that is one of the most fastest benefits that you're going to see so many things from, like improved sleep quality, no more anxiety caused from drinking, and countless hangovers or shame that's wrapped around the things that you did when you were drinking, or even just breaking a decision that you made, such as not drinking, and the shame that came from that. Once you broke that promise to yourself. I mean, if you're drinking, there's a lot of stuff that's going on inside of you. If you want to quit and you haven't been able to make that happen yet, like there's a lot of feelings inside that make you feel just shitty, and we want to help you get to the other side of that. So again, today I really want to focus on how to change your life once you get to the other side, because again, it's not just going to magically happen for you. So one of the first things that I'm going to say is that sobriety makes so much space in your life. It makes so much space. That space can feel very scary at first. It can feel freeing. It can feel blissful. It can feel magical. It can feel boring. It can feel confusing. It can feel really lonely. There's just like this roller coaster of emotions that you can feel just from that space that sobriety brings. But what that space is actually providing you once you find your footing is opportunity, right? So think about all the time you spent actually drinking. Let's actually back up. All the time you thought about drinking. All of the thoughts that happen throughout the day that lead up to that point. Then you get into the point of drinking or using the substance. So forever many hours that goes on. And then there's the next day. If you're dealing with a hangover, I know for me, the result of my hangover would last up to 3 days, because it wasn't just like the sick feeling. It was the anxiety that lasted. It was the low vibrational moods I was in. It was the lack of clarity. It was the lack of creativity, all that edgy behavior that I had. But it actually lasted up to 3 days. So if you think about that, removing all of that, how much space that brings. First thing you have is massive opportunity. You're gonna have so much clarity. Your creative edge kind of tends to come back. So your spark, like everybody's creative in different ways, and everybody kind of flows creativity differently through their body. And that's how the world is such a cool, crazy place, right? We're all creating different things and bringing different things into the world. But I find that with alcohol and drugs, it tends to kill the creativity from within you. So that's all going to come back up. And first thing I would say is just give it some time. Don't rush in the beginning. It's just about stacking wins, tiny, small wins, as you see them as they happen every single day. And then when this clarity and creativity starts to flow, that's where you're going to try new things. So something I like to recommend to people is just to start creating a list of all the things that you might like to try, even if you're not going to do them. Even if they're things from like 20 or 30 years ago, or maybe they're old hobbies or old habits, just write them down on a list, because you might visit them. Remember, we're just here to try new things. We're building a new life. We're changing our life in sobriety. So we need to start taking some baby steps towards some new stuff. So You're gonna have to try new things in sobriety. I tried a lot of different stuff. I really got into hot yoga that actually helped me through my first 3 to 6 months of sobriety, and in fact is something I still do today up to 3 times a week. I also joined tennis lessons for adult beginners. I didn't end up doing it very long, but I liked it, and I might go back to it. We'll see. I took pottery classes. I started writing more. I became a journaler, so I keep a daily journal. I put myself in new situations around new people, communities of all different kinds, and that's one of the things I would recommend for you is not just a sober community, but just in general, like what communities could you get interested in and become a part of? There are just so many places that you could dip your toes into, so to speak, to just try new things and be around new people. Like I said, it doesn't have to be sober communities, even though that's a great place to start. It could just be also like a sports community, a cooking community. What else are you interested in? Like, just start writing those things down and thinking about where those communities might exist, because you're gonna meet new people there. So that's really cool, and that's definitely part of changing your life once you're sober. I would also suggest just setting some new goals for yourself. So what is like one thing that you want to do this year? Now, I know for me, my first year of sobriety, my only major goal was just staying sober. I wanted to actually prove to myself that I could do this, and I didn't want to put too much pressure on myself around a whole bunch of other goals. But once you know that you're good in your sobriety, that's where you want to start making some goals. Could be to like do something big, like run a marathon. Could be that you want to lose 15 pounds. It could be that you want to get involved with 3 new communities. It could be that you want to do something big, like change your career. Could be that you want to improve on your marriage or your relationship with your kids. Could be that you want to take a vacation to Paris or Rome. There's just so many different things that we're all thinking about doing. And so setting a goal or a few goals for yourself, whatever feels comfortable for you, is gonna help to get you on the right path to changing your life in sobriety. I really urge you to also really listen to this next one. This is so important, and this is where I think a lot of people struggle in sobriety and they are not successful. It's because the lack of them not finding a new way to self-regulate. For most of us, alcohol or drugs, if we've been doing it for a long time, becomes the easy #1 choice for self-regulation. I feel shitty, I'll drink or use drugs. I feel happy, I'll drink or use drugs. I'm sad, I'm lonely, I'm irritated, I'm fill in the blanks to any other emotion, I'll drink or use drugs. We need to find new ways to self-regulate. So my #1 go-to is journaling. Take it or leave it. It might not be for you, but I would not knock it until you try it. I do sit down for about 15 minutes every morning and I write out how I'm feeling. I write out what I'm living. I write out what I'm confused about. If I'm mad, anxious, nervous, scared, excited, all of the things that might require some self-regulation, I will write about it. It's pretty much free to do. I can do it anytime, anywhere, although I do have a little practice of when I like to do it. But I think just going to a practice like writing is an accessible way to self-regulate for anybody at any time. So I would encourage you to do that. If that's not your way, find your way. You need to know how to self-regulate, and you need to know basically right now. It's really important. Going for a walk can also calm your nervous system. Maybe taking a bath, singing, I don't know. Just explore that for yourself and find what works for you and have that as your go-to when you need it, because it's going to be crucial and help make the difference between your success and your failure. And like I said, get into as many communities as you can. You just need to start this process slow. Sobriety is like taking baby steps. The first 3 months are the hardest. Then the next 3 months, then it gets easier. And over time, it becomes effortless and you've changed your life now that you're sober. And you can do that in an all-encompassing way. You can change your whole life if you want to, but you need to start small. You need to stack your wins. You need to give yourself so much grace during this process and just try some new things and take it one day at a time until you don't count those days anymore. And I promise you, if you do these things, you will get to a place where you no longer are counting your sober days. So my name is Angela Donnell. Please subscribe and reach out if you're looking for somebody to work with on one-on-one coaching for sobriety success.